Call Don now, 682-1270. News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270 KIML. That's strange. Half of my bumper musics aren't working today, so I had to repeat that one. I apologize. It's been one of those weird mornings. Good morning,
Sure.
Christine. We have Christine Bestgen in studio, and I want to thank you for making it here safely first.
Absolutely.
Apparently, I guess there was a little bit of fog coming in from South Dakota.
Yeah, it just slowed me down just a little bit, but
Well, it's better to be safe than sorry. I mean,
absolutely.
this is just radio, so.
Bet.
So Christine, we talked to you last week about what being a Gold Star mom was all about and your story. So for those that were listening, that was a great hour of radio, and if you didn't hear it, it's actually on my YouTube page, and you can find that Don Carpenter Radio on YouTube. Look it up and listen. It really it was. I will say it wasn't easy doing that. I mean,
Not at all.
It was. I imagine it was even tougher for you. But I mean, it's.
Well, we talked about the interview after the fact, and I thought how uncomfortable and difficult it was for you to ask the questions and not know what to ask.
Yeah.
And knowing that we both had tears in our eyes over here, and that makes any man uncomfortable.
Well, yeah. I mean, men don't deal with that kind of stuff
No.
very well. But
But you did great.
No, I do my best. I do my best. So we're here to actually talk about a couple things that we didn't get a chance to talk about too much last time. First, let's talk about the Honor and Remember flag first.
Sounds good.
So we'll that way we can kind of wrap up with the events this weekend. The Honor and Remember flag is something that you're helping out to kind of promote and spread awareness of. Just tell us a little bit about what it is and how it came about.
George Lutz, who is a Gold Star father from Virginia, lost his son Tony in 2005. And being a typical man, he went back to work a couple of years and buried himself in his work to deal with his grief. And then he just had this itch to get out and meet other Gold Star families. And in his travels and meeting with these other families, he discovered that in the history of our country, there has never been a national symbol to honor our fallen military. Now there's the POW MIA flag, but that is just not the same thing. You know, Wyoming Cowboys have a flag. The Girl Scouts have a flag. The POW MIA has a flag. And it's a national symbol everybody knows. But George made it his mission to create a flag to be flown in our nation to honor our fallen military. For those of you that are listening online, or that if you're near a computer, why don't you pull up the page honorandremember.org, honorandremember.org, and there's several tabs there, but under the mission it describes what George's mission is. And this is not just to honor fallen military since 9/11. This is to honor any fallen in the history of our country back to 1775. And so you think about your family history and your genealogy, and if someone may have fallen in Gettysburg, any of the campaigns in the Civil War, American Revolution, World War II, World War I, and especially Vietnam. George's mission and his passion is that any family that has lost a service member in service to our country would be presented a personal flag in memory of their fallen. And they've just recently presented flags to ancestors of folks that fell in 1777. So if you go onto the donate button, there's an area there that you can designate a specific family. You know, think about your Gold Star families here. There's at least 3 in Gillette. You have Du Bois, Upton, etc., that you can go and donate a certain amount of money or purchase the whole flag. It's $350 for a personalized family flag. And then the name of their fallen is embroidered on the bottom of that flag with a couple other details, and then presented personally to the family to fly in memory of their fallen.
And a couple months ago, you actually came in to kind of tell me your story and before you give me a little bit of background about all this. And you brought one of the flags with you, and it's a beautiful flag, and every bit of the design means something. And I don't know if you need this as a guide.
I see it in my sleep.
Okay. I mean, I was actually holding up a little business card that actually has the flag design as the card.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about what everything on the flag actually means.
The red background symbolizes the blood that was shed. There is a blue star outline. We all start as blue star families when our service members are deployed and activated. We start out with that blue star service flag that flies in our window. Then there's a white line on the inside of this blue star flag that symbolizes the sacrifice that took us from a blue star family to a gold star status. The bottom underneath that star is a folded flag symbolizing the flag presented to the family at the funeral, and then the flame that we never forget their spirit, the eternal flame. And across the bottom it says honor and remember, and then there is a white space at the bottom, which is where the names would be embroidered when they're presented to the families. And part of what George and Laura is one of his advocates out of Arizona, it's not necessarily designed to fly that flag every day, but when you hear on the news and about a casualty in our current conflicts, wherever it is in our country or in our world, the goal is to fly that flag to honor that day. And when your state goes to a half mass in honor of our fallen, that is when they're designed to fly those. And the only two states, there's also a tab on that page that shows a map of the states. And the only two states that I remember seeing white on the map is Montana and Wyoming. I guess there's also Illinois.
It looks like
there's a few others, but
yeah, Iowa, Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming are the only ones on the map here.
And the reason that they're white is because their state has not either heard about this yet and has not started any legislation to adopt that flag. So any of you that are listening that are in those areas, talk to your representatives and to your legislature and encourage them to adopt this as a national symbol. And it starts within each state. And then there's a petition to sign, and the petition is to get Congress to adopt this flag as a national symbol to fly just like they fly the POW MIA flags.
So, and the POW MIA flag is officially recognized by Congress. So, I mean, it's the official flag of POW and MIA troops. So that's the overall mission of this, is to get it nationally recognized then.
Right.
But this wouldn't be something that you would fly every day then.
Well, I fly mine every day, and I have a sticker on my car, and but that's my personal choice, and so it's up to you. And I don't believe that it has the same requirement that you have to have a light on it like you have to with the American flag to fly it 24 hours a day. But mine is flying all the time.
Yeah, and what a lot of people do is that if they only have one flagpole, they'll fly the POW flag underneath the American flag. So maybe there would be a situation, where you could maybe switch back and forth. One day you put one up, one day you put the other up. I mean, that would be, at least in my eyes, that would be a nice thing to see it on equal footing with the POW MIA flag.
You bet. Or put up another pole.
Or put up another pole, and then and then you could fly the American flag on one and the POW and the honor and remember flags on the other.
Right.
So there you go.
Businesses and personal and government, et cetera. As it goes, it's going to grow. And when I met with George personally about a year and a half ago, I asked him. I said, "How can one man get this message across our country?" And with my job and with the things that I'm involved with, and being the president of the South Dakota Gold Star Mothers, I'm out a lot. And so I asked him if I could help him with South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. And so that's what I'm doing, and it kind of all comes together in a nice little package.
Well, it does kind of, it's kind of related to what you do.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it all does fit together. And I think a lot of the people that are involved with the movement are probably in similar situations and, Gold Star families. So, but this is something that anybody can do. I mean, there's the petition online. I know for a fact some of our representatives do listen from time to time. So, hey, if you're in a position of power somewhere down in Cheyenne somewhere and you're listening right now.
And they've made it really easy for you guys. If you go to the legislation tab on honorandremember.org, the resolution and a bill has already been written. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. It doesn't get any easier than that. And I met Doug Uhrig, who is the Legion State Commander for Wyoming this past week, and it took about 30 seconds for me to hand him that Honor and Remember flag card and say, hey, check this out. So it's very simple. It's very easy.
And I'm sure this is a situation where it probably just hasn't been brought to their attention yet. I don't think there's anyone in the legislation that would oppose this, but it's, you need to bring attention to it before something can be done.
Everything starts somewhere. And the first thing is the awareness and the, did you know that such a thing was available? And that's what we're working on now. So, but I'm seeing the response, and, Patriot Guard riders fly that flag on their bikes when they're doing their parades or they're standing guard at services. And I am starting to see more and more people that, oh yes, I have seen that flag.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think I told you this the first time you came in before you ever came on the air, but I mean, I'd seen the flag, but I didn't really know what it was. Mm-hmm. And I think getting the word out is key to this.
You bet.
So that's what we're trying to do here today.
And Brian Yeager, if you're listening, hello. And I know I got to speak with him about that the other day, and we're going to be meeting this weekend. So pretty excited. Yeah.
So when we come back, you have a couple events coming up, and we're going to talk about those. Maybe we'll talk about the traveling memorial as well.
Perfect.
And maybe we'll do that first, and then we'll get to the events. And of course, we'll take your calls as well if you have any questions for Christine. But right now, let's take a short break. We'll come back. News Talk 1270 KIML.
For the latest on the show, follow Don on Twitter @TheDonCarpenter. News Talk 1270 KIML. You're listening to Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter Show. Welcome back to the program. And if you're just joining us, we're talking with Christine Bestgen. Christine was in about a week ago telling us about her experience as a Gold Star mom. And in the last break, we talked about the Honor and Remember flag and kind of the efforts to spread the word on that. And want to remind everybody, just tell at least one person about it today. That's the idea, right?
Yep. And, go to honorandremember.org. honorandremember.org. Anything you need to know is on that page. And if you have questions, feel free to email them or contact Dawn, and I will be more than glad to talk to you about it.
See, it's that easy. It really is.
And I am in town today, so I'd be more than glad to come by and say hey.
And of course, if you have any questions for Christine, 682-1270 is the number, 682-1270. Another thing that you're involved, you really, I don't know how you do all this. I really don't know how you do all this. But another thing you're involved with is the Traveling South Dakota Fallen Heroes banner exhibit.
The South Dakota Fallen Heroes banner is a traveling memorial to honor our 35 servicemen and women that South Dakota has lost since 9/11. And in October of 2011, about 2 months after my son was killed in Afghanistan, I was presented with my personal family banner. And I asked I was in hospitality and tourism for almost 9 years, and I made an extreme effort all the time to find things to offer to my groups to make their event better. And I had never heard of the banners. And I asked, how come I've never heard of these? And Gloria said to me, well, it's pretty simple, Christine. There's only 3 of us on the committee. We're all introverts, and we have no voice. And I looked at him, I said, well, you have a voice now. And just throughout this last 2 years, I've been very honored to be involved and use my marketing and my event planning and logistic abilities to help increase the amount of bookings that the banners get. And I feel that it brings a personal, more relevant perspective when one of the mothers is standing there, and you can just see the look in their eyes and the look on their faces when you're one of the moms. How are you doing this? Well, for me, it's helping me heal, and it's helping me to move forward.
Right, and everybody kind of deals with this in a different way, but your way is so constructive. Just give us a little bit of a description of how the banner. I mean, it's a large banner.
It's, when you go to trade shows, you see those pop-up, pull-up banners that stand about 7 feet tall, about 3 feet wide. They roll down into a case. They have a pole on the back, and we have 37 because we have 2 visitor entry signs, but the other are 35 individual banners for each of our fallen, and it's in memory of, and then their name, and a big, beautiful picture that you can, you're looking right in their eyes. And that's one thing I noticed, that no matter how I set them up, no matter what configuration, because there isn't a specific way, because every space is different, but their eyes follow you around the room. And I started out at the beginning when I was working with these playing a little bit more somber music, and found out, I don't know, I'm really careful about the music that I play, so something a little bit more upbeat so it doesn't feel so dark.
Right. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a depressing experience.
Exactly.
I mean, and these fallen heroes, I mean, they really they wouldn't want to be remembered like that. I mean, it's you honor them, and that doesn't necessarily mean being somber and dark all the time.
Right. But I have seen grown men weep at this, and there's lots of hugs, there's lots of encouragement, and a lot of support. And there's some people that there was a woman the other day. She started to come in the door, and she looked around. She goes, "I can't do this. My son's in Afghanistan right now. I can't do this." And so I went out and gave her a hug and said, "I understand. Believe me."
Oh, yeah. But it's also a good way to bring people together and start the healing process. And I think that is one of the most important parts that maybe some people overlook sometimes, is when you've suffered a tragedy like this, to get out and be around other people that can kind of be your support system.
Somebody told me once, is pull up your bootstraps and get going. And others get busy living or get busy dying. And I am just trying to move forward through, this Friday will be 2 years since Dennis was killed, and it's a very tough week for all of us. And I'm just very thankful for what has been given to me as a mission, so that I can be a productive adult and move forward and still be a good mom to my daughter and a good wife to my husband, and make my family feel better that I'm doing okay.
Well, you're doing what you're doing is so important that I think it's a great testament to just how healing can kind of become such a positive thing.
For me, I have no doubt it's a choice, and I made a choice the day the chaplain was at my house. I know I'm being sent on a mission, and I'm just following where I'm being led.
Yeah, and that's that really is. I mean, it's well, you know what? We're going to take a short break. We're going to talk about the events you have coming up this weekend. Since you mentioned the weekend coming up, we got some over there for you as well. I know it's tough. So we'll take a short break and we'll come back and we'll talk about the events you have coming up this weekend.
Thank you.
News Talk 1270 KIML.
From Washington to Cheyenne to right here in Gillette, Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML. Call Don right now, 682-1270.
News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter Show. Welcome back to the program. And for our caller that called in right at the end of the break, feel free to call back. And anybody else that has any questions for Christine, 682-1270. 682-1270 is the number. So I guess the real reason that you're here is to talk about the ride you have coming up this weekend. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's all important. It's just trying to keep it in the right order today, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, but this is the most timely thing, and
Right.
and it really is. I mean, they're all important, but this is your thing. So.
Well, right after we buried Dennis, my family and I sat and talked, and I told them that I would like to do something on the anniversary every year, as close to the anniversary as possible. And we ended up planning the Specialist Dennis Jensen Memorial Ride. It's a Facebook event, and it's SPC, Sam Paul Charlie, SPC Dennis Jensen Memorial Ride. The ride is from Whitewood, South Dakota to St. Ange, to Belle Fourche, to Aladdin, Wyoming, Hewlett, Wyoming, and we finish at the Devil's Tower, KOA. And there's multiple reasons why we designed that route, and part of it was at the time I was working for the Live with Jim Thompson program, and all of these communities were my customers. And I was actively seeing them every week and really getting to know these folks. And I made them a promise that I was going to bring them new business, advertising sales. That's what we do. And I felt like I didn't get to fulfill my promise. And so I told my family that I want to fulfill that to my clients. And so we're bringing our ride through those communities to bring new people and awareness and thank the communities who have wrapped their arms around our family through this very difficult time. And we also wanted to honor, related to this, we wanted to honor the Patriot Guard riders, the Legion riders, and Rolling Thunder, who are always there standing silent guard for our families and our veterans, and they're always there supporting us, and we just want to honor them and thank them. And so any of your organizations, we invite you to join this ride. Our ride starts in Whitewood, and it's Saturday, August 17th. Pancake breakfast and registration opens at 7 in the morning, and we'll do a little opening ceremony about 8:45, and we'll be departing in groups of 50. It's a big thing. Cars are welcome. You don't have to have a motorcycle. There's plenty of folks out there that have asked, I would like to go, but I don't have a bike. The only thing I ask that you don't drive in this ride would be a motorhome. But and maybe not a horse, because that's a long ride.
yeah. The horse might not like it that much, but that route is. I mean, it's a beautiful route as well.
Beautiful, and we'll have organized groups up to Aladdin. But after Aladdin, will be individual departure. You can arrive in Hewlett. Just want everybody in Hewlett by 1 o'clock, and at 11 o'clock in Hewlett, we will be pretty close to ready. We are bringing the South Dakota Fallen Heroes banners, a tribute to our North Dakota fallen. I know we have some items coming in from Wyoming. I'm hoping that with this interview and with the contacts that I've made, that folks from Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, and South Dakota, please come and bring whatever you have for your tribute to your fallen. And it doesn't matter what campaign. And this is our first year, but it'll be set up at the Community Center in Hewlett, Wyoming, from 11 until 9 on Saturday, the 17th, and then from 9 to 5 on Sunday, the 18th, open to the public and just come and show your respect to our fallen and to their families.
So even if you don't, even if you can't make the ride itself,
Right.
you can come and visit the banners all day long in Hewlett.
Absolutely. And, if you don't want to come over to Whitewood and join us, we're going to be in Hewlett starting about 11. The first group will be in Hewlett until 2:30. And at 2:30, we're all going to line up, cars, motorcycles, and everybody is going to make one mass ride out to the Devil's Tower KOA campground. When we get there, we're going to have a barbecue. The staff, Zanny and Andrea, they're going to have grills already ready for us so that you can stop at the grocery store in Hewlett. I know everybody doesn't have a refrigerator in their saddlebags on their bikes, but we're doing a bring your own meat barbecue. This is our second annual. I don't have the budget to provide a meal, and I'm working on the side dishes yet. I have a couple of ideas for that, but stop at the corner market in Hewlett and pick up a steak or a burger or hot dogs or brats, whatever it is you want to cook. And or when you get to the KOA campground, they're going to have a couple of cases of steaks there that you can just buy your steak right there, and then we'll just throw it on the grill, and I'll have utensils and things like that. And if you want to eat like an animal and eat your steak by hand, I don't care. Just join us for a little meal. And that's going to be approximately 3 o'clock on Saturday the 17th. And it's a very busy weekend in Hewlett. There's the MS bicycle ride is going on. The Devil's Tower car show is happening, plus our ride. And then on Saturday evening after the ride, Gordy Pratt will be performing live on stage at 7 o'clock on the Ponderosa stage in Hewlett. Admission is a free will donation. And then following that, I know the Ponderosa has some plans, and there's another fundraiser happening, and I don't remember the family's name, but there's another benefit going on in town that evening as well. Plus, I hear there's a turkey banquet going on.
It's a busy weekend.
Yeah.
And you actually have some other stuff going on that weekend as well.
We do. When we were planning the memorial ride starting in Whitewood, again, thinking with the marketing and the sales mind that I have, how do we bring folks into Whitewood? Because once the ride leaves, there's no business in Whitewood. So out of our planning, we have our second annual Veterans Appreciation event in Whitewood on Friday night, August 16th at the Iron Horse Inn. Whitewood, South Dakota is at exit 23 on I-90, halfway between Spearfish and Sturgis. You turn off the interstate, go right up the main drag, and when you get up to the stop sign, turn left, go up over the railroad tracks, and you'll see this great big motel complex that's designed specifically for bikes, but cars are more than welcome. Is called the Iron Horse Inn, and if you want to, they're doing special room reservation rates on Friday night for anyone that wants to come and spend the evening. And Gordy Pratt is the original Fabulous One guy. If you have never heard him, he has presence on the Facebook. So if you look up Gordy Pratt, GORDY PRATT, the original Fabulous One guy, he is our entertainment on Friday night as well in Whitewood. And you can make reservations at the Iron Horse Inn by calling area code 605-722-7574. Make sure you tell them you're with the Veterans Appreciation or Dennis Jensen Memorial Ride. And then if you want, you can also go online, ironhorseinnsturgis.com. That's ironhorseinsturgis.com.
So there you go. It's make a whole weekend of it.
Absolutely. And you can, if you just want to join us in Hewlett and you don't want to make the whole ride, that's fine. We would just like to meet you. And this isn't your typical poker run type ride. I am a huggy person. I
learned that the last time you were in here. I'm not used to my guests hugging me.
I look at an opportunity to, when you meet someone, that's an opportunity to make a new friend, to make a new acquaintance. And I've seen other folks already this year that were on the ride last year. Last year was a blur. It was the 1-year anniversary. It was everything I could do just to keep my wits about myself that day. And so there's some faces you'll have to remind me, but I look at this as an opportunity for new friends, and I see the phone is ringing.
And actually, we'll only have about 30 seconds, so we'll have to make it quick.
Okay.
News Talk 1270, you're on the air. Make it quick, please.
What's the name of what you're doing and all that? Because y'all been talking for all this time, and you really haven't said the name of who's doing this or what it's for.
It's the Specialist Dennis Jensen Memorial Ride in honor of my son who fell in Afghanistan. It's Saturday, August 17th, and the night before in Whitewood, South Dakota, is the Veterans Appreciation at the Iron Horse Inn.
There you go, and with that, we're out of time.
And there's commercials running starting today.
Yeah, the commercials are all over the stations as well. HonorAndRemember.org is the website for Honor and Remember. Check it all out. Go out this coming weekend. The Specialist Dennis Jensen Memorial Ride is on Saturday. Veterans Appreciation Night is on Friday night. So
Correct.
There you go. There's all the information. And again,
thank you, caller, for making that point. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned for Rush News Talk 1270 KIML.
No crazy conspiracies, just good local talk. Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.